What is going on, you guys? It is Showboy Nuts, and we are back on YouTube with another video. That's right, guys. We are back, but it's going to be something a little different today because I have a very surprise guest, you guys. You might know him if you've done a couple of cruise ships. He has been a featured guest performer on various cruise ships, and he was a golden ticket recipient on American Idol. And more so than that, he has become one of my newest, closest best friends. Say hi to my bestie, Kyng Bea. What up, Bea?
What's up? What's good? Howdy?
We are doing good. I'm so glad I got to sit down with you for a little bit and chit chat. I know you are hard to reach. You're a busy bee, pun intended.
Oh my God, I swear. I just finished doing a show at the newest nightclub in Fayetteville, one of the best nightclubs in Fayetteville, North Carolina. They just got voted that literally on the night I was playing. So,
yes.
and I was like, hey, I'm performing at the best place in Fayetteville to perform. Patty's Irish Pub. It was a good show. It was great with my band called Something Sweet.
Come on, Something Sweet. Come on, Patty's. We love that. They knew that Bea was coming, so they said we're gonna be the best. We're gonna be the best. But, you know, I have you here for a very specific reason because when we met, you know, for those of you that don't know, we met during the process earlier in the year. I just had to go work on a cruise ship for a little bit as a DJ. And it just so happens the very first night that I get to the whole experience, my first ever roommate is this man right here, Mr. B, and the rest is history. The rest is history. But you have an album coming out. Part of it has already been out. Came out early on Bandcamp, but the end of October, or if you guys are watching this, it might even already be out now. But you have a brand new album coming out. So tell me a little bit about the album. What?
So the album is called The Black Lumbee. Oh, it is about my heritage growing up in southern North Carolina, Robeson County, Hope County, and it is my experience being a kid and not being able to have the words or the language to say what was happening or what I was experiencing. But as I got older, you know, I was like, okay, this is definitely some things I need to unpack, and why not do it in musical form? Yes. So where The Black Lumbee comes from, that's the origins of that album. It's also my second full-length project, because my first project outside the Mason Jar, I was working on cruise ships, not knowing anything, how to record. So that was my practice album, I guess you could say. A lot of people like a lot of the songs from the original, but this new stuff is my first. Oh yeah, I'm happy with each song. Sounds great. I think this goes up against what's on the radio.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I mean, even like what I considered my first EP, looking back on it now, I'm like slowly retconning it a little bit because I'm just like, I mean, she was cute in the moment. I was feeling her then, but you know, we're a little, you know. So I get it. Do you have any like musical influences that kind of like help influence the style of the actual album, or just your, you know, musical presence as a whole?
So as a whole, my musical influences are definitely Little Richard, personality. Hey.
Yeah.
Cook, because he was one of the earliest adopters of having your own publishing, having your own record label, writing your own songs, creating your own ownership. So Sam Cooke is also a huge influence on my music and my business. And I would also say Patti LaBelle, and Patti LaBelle has a umbrella. Patti LaBelle from The Performances, by the way. If you haven't seen her live, just type her in Somewhere Over the Rainbow. If you don't know me by now.
Yeah, and they're already watching this on YouTube, so they might as well just give it a search when they're done, you know.
Jump over there and just see. I love to perform in that style. And so she has an umbrella, actually, because under that umbrella would be Elton John and Lady Gaga. Why? Because Elton John performed piano for Patti LaBelle back in the early days. And then her shows inspired Elton John. Elton John became Elton John. Lady Gaga was inspired by Elton John. And you see how it goes down to me. So,
and I love snowball. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of all of them. But all of them have a little piece of an influence.
Little something, kind of adding up to the whole Bea experience. So I love that, and you know, I got to check out some of your music before it came out ahead of time. You did release a single off the album, which we'll talk about that in just a second. But before we get into some of the songs and stuff like that, is there a song off the album that you like more than the other ones, or one that has a message that hits home a little bit more to you than some of the other ones?
Well, I thought that you might say that. My favorite would be Runway of Life, because It's got a psychological component for me. I'm imagining if I seen myself on television as a child, this is what I would say. This is life. Everything is happening for a reason. You're given every tool that you need to succeed in life. And I personally believe my ethos, my journey is getting over myself. It's not necessarily the challenges of the outside world, things beyond my control. It is the things within my control that I need to learn to master. So runway of life is, this is the runway of life.
Yeah.
Get up. You got this. It's going to be okay. If I had a role model and I was talking to myself, that's what that song is on that level. Also, musically, I was going into I was like, let me switch up the genre a little bit, do like a club hit, a small, like an EDM style influence. I was switching it up a little bit.
Should change it up a little bit. No, I get that, and I totally understand that. And sometimes as artists, we'll write a song, and it might be us speaking to the past us, and sometimes it might even be us speaking to the future us. It's a lesson that we feel like we might know in that moment, but sometimes coming back, I wrote a song once, I listened to it like a year later, and I was like, that was speaking to me now, like crazy.
Ooh, yes, that is the same. Actually, that's the same with a lot of my music. I get that same thing, KNOTZ. I'm like, yo. I was talking to me. I needed this.
Yes.
And that's what I get with Runway of Life. And that's 1000% correct on that, man.
So when we worked on the ship together, we, kind of talked about maybe working on some music together at some point or something like that. We never really got to it, but we discussed it. And one night, weeks ago, I was listening to your first single off your new Black Lumbee album, and a song called Love. And I was like, this is beautiful. Like, it was, me recently coming out of, a relationship that meant a lot more than me than I, what was preparing myself for. The song really hit. And I decided, what, let me toy around with this a little bit. So I decided to sit down and I started randomly remixing one of your songs. And I sent it to you. And I guess you thought it was okay because now, if you guys are watching this video out right now, the song is out. We released a KNOTZ remix of a Kyng Bea track, Love, out now, Spotify, most streaming platforms. So tell me a little bit about that song and what did you think when I sent you a remix? Has anyone ever remixed your music before? Like what was going through your head with all that?
This is a first. It's a first. And first, let me say I'm honored and thank you so much. I really appreciate that. The fact of you doing that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
It's the first time I've had anything remixed. That song really came from my relationship with what love is. Because I'm like, okay, what can I do? What can I say? Will you think I'm a fool? I'm trying to be cool for us, for trust, for love. Basically, me being inside of my head when it's like love is not something you can identify with the five senses. Now, when I say identify, it's something that you feel,
Yeah.
And it's like, come here, stop. You're overthinking. Let me give you a hug. And it's like, you're trying to compute in your mind, or you're trying to hear it, or you're trying to see it. You're trying to, compute what love is. And it's like, love is a feeling, and you feel when someone is being loving to you. And I'm like, okay, well, this thing must be love. It's like, I'm unfamiliar with being emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah. And one of the lyrics you wrote in the song is you say like, stop what you're doing, you're losing your mind. Stop what you're doing, it will be all right. And I'm like, oh, yes, please.
Please.
And you know me, because you know how my anxiety be. So you're one of those people.
I live. Yes.
Oh, yes. No.
That is it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, so I had a great time, and hopefully this is just the start of us potentially working on some original music or doing some other stuff down the line. Because I know there's one song, it hadn't even been written yet. It has to do with the basketball, but just foreshadowing. I'm just saying, I want to produce that song.
Speaking of basketballs, that's going to be coming up on the next thing, which I know you're probably going to ask. Like, that's going to be
what is the next T? So for people that are watching this at home now, aside, the remix is out of the song I did for you. That was the single. The full album is out on Bandcamp for full purchase. They can more than likely stream it now on streaming platforms if they look it up. But yeah, I know the album is still baby. It is just out, and let the music breathe. One thing about me, let the music breathe. Give it a second. But are you planning anything ahead of time? What are you thinking? What is the plan? What's the tea?
Well, I'm currently halfway done with the second album. I'm thinking of breaking this one down into like 4 parts, 3 parts. I don't know. I might do it in 2 parts, like 3-song EPs or something that make a bigger project. Me as a person, I'm not one to sit on my laurels. It's that's something as I'm getting older that I'm realizing I need to stop and like you said, let the music breathe.
Yeah.
I did this ship for so many months. Well, I've been doing this for a long time when it comes to ships. So it's like, okay, next one. Okay, the project is done. Next project. Song is written. Next song. You know what I'm saying? I'm always jumping to the next thing. And I don't really have time to sit and just, I'm like, okay, once I get that first check that says $3.5 million, then we can sit and enjoy
$3.5 million. I'm getting $3.5. Girl on my streams. $3.5 million. Hello. No, but I
3 million. No,
yes. No, I feel you. No, but yes, I agree. Let stuff breathe. But good. I'm glad you thinking about the plans for the future, but still letting some of the stuff breathe, but having an idea, definitely.
Yes. That being said, I'm already in the process of making the next project. So Black Lumbee was my experience as a kid, as a child, and going into adolescence. Think like childhood until age 12. Wow, this next project is from 13 to 18. So now this is definitely more adult, more fun, more silliness, but it will be more of a mature theme.
Okay. Yeah. I feel that. Well, hey, I'm excited to see the future of what you got going on. I can't wait to listen to the full Black Lumbee album. And purchase it on Bandcamp if you guys haven't already. Get on that, stream it on streaming platforms. But I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with me today. Those of you guys that are watching at home, be sure to stream the Love remix that I did for Mr. B himself. Their link is going to be below in the description. You can check it on streaming platforms. And check out the Black Lumbee, the full album, out more than likely now on streaming platforms, but for sure on Bandcamp. Also link below. Other than that, you guys, thank you for joining us today. And until next time, you'll see me and B later. KNOTZ out.